Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salailo Makwidiri, right here on your home of humanitarian journalism, Salam Media. And in a bit, we'll be turning our focus to the ongoing political unrest in Mozambique, just right here by our doorstep, one of South Africa's closest neighbors, where opposition leader Venancio Mondlane has recently called for a nationwide protest from November 13th to the 15th. This protest followed the disputed election results from October 9, which have sparked violent confrontations and widespread dissatisfaction across the country. And as the nation braces for further unrest, we'll be speaking with Cídia Chissungo. She's a Mozambique-based human rights activist who helps us gain more insight into the situation on the ground, the human rights implications of the protest, and the possible consequences for ordinary citizens. Cídia, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media.
Thank you so much, everyone.
I think first and foremost, from what you've gathered, whether it's from your contacts or people that you may know, what are they telling you about the current situation in Mozambique right now, and what is the atmosphere like, particularly in major cities such as Maputo?
Okay, so it's high tension, let's say, because yesterday the Mozambique police commander did a press conference around 7 p.m. saying that everyone should go to work, children should go to school, and he said that they are prepared to make sure that people don't protest. He repeated many times, enough with protests, enough with protests. He even compared protesters on 7 November as terrorists in Cabo Delgado. So the tension is very high. Today, some of the cities, the day started, let's say, significantly calm. It's very different. Some stores are closed. Informal trade is the one that is, let's say, not so normal, but people are on the streets. Some companies, they are closed. Some schools are closed as well. But we noticed just in the first hours today that, for example, the Mashipanda border, there was no movement. In Resano Garcia, just early in the morning, the trucks are blocked. And then we also had a situation in Sofala in N6 where a truck just closed the road for both sides. But just like as I talk, there is high tension in Nampula, and we have received reports already of five people being shot, 3 dead, but these are informations that still have to be verified. But this is what we could gather right now. So the tension is very high. As you have probably saw in the past few days, protests are happening almost 24 hours. So I think there is a lot more that could come in the next few hours. But at this point, it's just very unfortunate that police would continue acting the same way. 4 people in Nampula were shot in their houses, as the families are reporting that they were not in the demonstrations this morning, and that's very concerning. That's why the calls for the authorities remain the same, that the end of crackdown and protests have to happen. And also this morning, we also noticed that internet, specifically Facebook, is still restricted. So this also adds to the calls that we have been doing, that people have to have access to information. Today marks day 20 of restrictions since the beginning of the protest in Mozambique.
I want to focus a bit on, young people's relationship, the youth of Mozambique, their relationship with Frelimo, because I think it almost mirrors right now something that seems to be happening all across, the region. You have a lot of dissatisfaction with the ANC here in South Africa, and that was displayed, through the elections. They've lost majority for the first time since democracy. You have a similar situation unfolding in Botswana and their elections there. the relationship that the general, young people who have not necessarily, witnessed, the fight against colonialism or, other forms of oppression or against apartheid, maybe, which is the case here in South Africa, the relationship that they have with, Frelimo as a party that has ruled and ran Mozambique for quite a long time. And, from our side of the border looks like, a revolutionary movement that we also South Africans, hold and viewed with such high regard.
Yes, absolutely. What I would say also as a young person is that the change is coming and nothing will stop this. Because if we look at how our countries are right now, it just no justification. If we look at Mozambique specifically, each day we will see reports that new resources have been discovered. There are this amount of business being closed. But if we look at how all of this is reflecting on people's life, we will not see any combination here. We still have children sitting under the trees to study. We have children starting the year without books and only receiving the year at the end of the books. We have schools closing because someone is not paying the water bill. We have teachers striking because of salaries. We have doctors and health professionals striking because of conditions at the hospital. We have even judges threatening to strike as well. So the situation is not good. And when people look at how the country is, there is a clear understanding that something has to change. So I do see that what young people are doing right now in Mozambique by confronting and saying that enough is enough and there is a need to change and make sure that institutions are powerful, that there is justice as well. Because one of the things that we have seen is impunity. For example, the police seized the beginning of the protest on 21st of October. There is no day we hear them recognizing any misbehavior from police. But we have numbers of people being killed every single day. And even today, as we're talking, and there is nobody condemns this because I don't know how to say this in English, but it's like the party and the state is the same thing. And for people, it's very important that we are able to differentiate this, all those things.
Separation of power.
Yes, exactly. Some of the people on the streets, they don't even care about political parties. They care about the country to be able to be fixed. Because right now, things are not okay. Not only in Mozambique, we see the same thing in Angola. That's why one of the countries that have been supporting so much the struggle in Mozambique right now is Angola. Angolans are pretty much helping and organizing Mozambique's diaspora response in the past few days. And that shows that it marks like a very important and historical moment in the history of both countries, because people understand that if something changes in Mozambique, something could potentially change also in Angola. The way all Frelimo acts, the same way MPLA acts, so people really need
the same
change.
way the ANC acts here in South Africa. It's similar. You'd swear that these liberation movements are cut from the same cloth. But then I wanna move on a bit to Venancio Mondlane and the role that he's playing in all of this. He has been leading the charge in these protests, calling for further demonstrations. Can you tell us more about him and his role, and why so many young people have rallied around him and his platform?
Yes, absolutely. I would say that Mozambicans, young people specifically, they were waiting for a chance, an opportunity to voice their concerns. And I would say that for many young people, Venancio Mondlane came as that person. And we hear many times speeches saying that Venancio Mondlane is using the people, but people are contesting. They are saying, no, it's actually not that. We, the people, are the ones using Venancio Mondlane as a way to get the change that we're looking for. So I would say that Venancio Mondlane just came at the time where people really needed one voice, which is something that didn't happen before. If we look at how Renamo, for example, has one of the biggest opposition party, how everything happened after Giacomo died. Renamo just died completely, I would say. They are almost disappearing right now, and people need an alternative. And I remember last year when Venancio Mondlane was trying in the election process to become the mayor of Maputo. And then Frelimo decided that he didn't win the elections, even though civil society and opposition had proofs that those elections Venancio Mondlane had won. Young people said that that was the first attempt to show Frelimo that if they don't change, then something even harder is going to happen in 2024. So this year again, when people were preparing, I remember seeing comments around this and people saying to Renamo, you better remove Osufu Momadi from the presidency of Renamo. Otherwise, we will not have any other chance but finding other solution to bring the change that we want. And then when Venancio Mondlane decided to become an option, people were like, that's actually what we were looking for, because as Osuf Momad were leading a Renamo party, nothing in terms of change was coming. And right now there is like a fertile land for change in Mozambique. And I would say Venancio Mondlane was just here in the right place, in the right moment. But who is really driving the change in Mozambique? It's not Venancio Mondlane. Other people, I would say.
No.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Amman means safety. The Amman School of Excellence in Finetown, South Africa, is securing the futures of underprivileged children by providing world-class education in a safe and nurturing environment. Sponsor a child for only 15,000 Rand per year or any amount. A quality education at Amman presents a pathway out of poverty and a brighter future for South Africa.
Africa Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities, conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities. Your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041-583-6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Searching for elite local and international investment and advisory services from an award-winning firm? Look no further than the Belmont Mayer Group, your gateway to unparalleled investment and wealth management. At Belmont Mayer, we believe in the art of wealth creation, a meticulous process fueled by our unwavering commitment to excellence. With a focus on providing elite alternative investments and quality advice, we also pride ourselves on maximizing value for our esteemed investors, as seen through our consistent outperformance. Your financial success is our top priority. Join us at Belmont Mayer and experience the difference firsthand. Ready to embark on a journey of greatness? Contact us today. Reach out to the Belmont Mayer Group on 078 786 1698. Call or WhatsApp or email us at info@belmontmayer.com. Elevate your financial future with Belmont Mayer, where every detail matters.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Definitely. And I want to focus now on, some of the strategies that we've seen of protest coming out of Mozambique. We know that social media has been restricted, I think that understanding came from what we saw earlier in the year when, the Kenyans went on a similar kind of protest, and how, the Gen Zs and the young people used social media so powerfully. But that aspect, the current administration, the current regime in Mozambique sees it as a threat. How did Mozambicans, young Mozambicans, kind of find other avenues and strategies to protest? Because I've been seeing some really interesting methods here that I find really powerful and inspiring.
Okay, I would say Mozambicans have shown to be very creative at this point. Yeah. I think I've been reporting and posting on Twitter most of the times when I see something interesting. And I'll be honest, I don't post everything due to limitation in terms of time, but it's been very interesting. Just a few days, I showed how people decided to cross a river after police blocked a bridge. That was one of the points. And also, most of the time the internet goes off, but if we see, for example, in Maputo, most of the nights people decide to beat pots and pans as a way of protest as well. And we see police crazy. We saw just a few days they started shooting at houses as people were doing noisy strike, for example. And this is very historical. Like, I've not seen this in 24 years of my existence. This is the first time that I see people really combining different tactics and methods. Even, for example, on the day of the big protest, 7 November, some people protesters were in the streets in Maputo city, and others in the buildings. They were striking as well, protesting, still doing noise strike. And what they also were doing, they were taking water bottles to the streets to make sure that as protesters pass, in case they're attacked by tear gas, they can have water immediately. So we're seeing this combination. We're seeing people preparing meals, distributing meals also for protesters in the morning as a way of giving them support to cheer them up. But we also see different groups, for example, supporting survivors, those who are being wounded by police as they are using live ammunition as well. So people are also using very powerfully social media, not only in Mozambique, but outside. And one interesting fact is that people have started understanding the behavior in terms of when the internet goes down. So they prepare their day knowing that, okay, if we have to do a lives, let's do lives before 7 p.m. because internet will go off. So that's how people have started to prepare. And there are days, and I've seen some people on social media, when the internet stays on after 7 p.m., for example, they keep wondering what's happening. Please just shut down internet, because that's how you work. We want to start beating the pans and pots because that's what we know better how to do. And we have seen people, for example, in their balconies just playing violin, for example, and other instruments. So I would say people are creating, and the fact that internet is down doesn't really intimidate much. We saw that in the first day, 25th of October, when internet was down, people started using SMS, which is something that for a long time, I would say some forgot that really exists, unless they would receive messages from the companies in case they buy, for example, megabytes or something like that. So I would say people are being very creative since the beginning. And one interesting factor as well that I've noticed is that most protests they happen during the day, but we have seen a shift right now, and we had cases, for example, in Mukuba as well, that just late at night people were also protesting. So I would say that it's a mix of interesting facts, people trying to be very creative, even though unfortunately there are cases, for example, of vandalism, but most have been questioning. The police normally they go to the streets also in plain clothes carrying AK-47s. So it's very difficult to know who is who when acts of vandalism are happening, because sometimes we know that there are people infiltrated, because that's the only narrative that, for example, authorities can use to say that, yes, protests cannot take place because protesters are being violent or something like that. But as we saw since the beginning of the protest in 21st of October, the side that is more violent is police, definitely. Of course, as the days were passing, people started retaliating in cases where police, for example, would shot protesters, including children. We have seen that across the country as well.
No, definitely. And I think it has been quite interesting seeing how young people have become so innovative, because we're a generation that's supposedly, supposed to be so reliant on the internet. One thing that you posted on your X account that was really interesting for me is on the 15th of November, the Mambas, the Mozambican national team, is having a game against Mali. This is the AFCON qualifiers. And you mentioned that, this is a strike day. Do you think, something big is going to happen there? Because we know Mozambicans come out for their national team, when they play, is quite a big event, and this is going to be an opportunity for people to gather in large numbers. Any expectation that something might happen there?
I would say I really don't know, but as I was doing an assessment, the general understanding of the public is that there are no conditions in Mozambique for this game to take place. And people do think that that's not a priority, that the country should focus on solving the problems that are more critical at this moment. And of course, there are some people saying that they will boycott, but it's not clear yet. So I would not mention any specific thing, but there is that possibility. Nobody really knows what's going to happen before the 15th or in the 15th. So let's leave it open. There are these possibilities. The protests can become even more violent. Has police also said that they will be prepared to respond, and perhaps that can lead to the teams to decide to cancel the match. But there is impacts on that, which is something that also people are like, we don't know if Mozambique will be able to do that. So it's uncertain at this moment. I would say it's 50% chances of it's work and 50% chances of it's not working, depending on how things will unfold in the next few hours and 2 days.
All right. I think we're going to leave it there, Cídia. Thank you so much for giving us your time and giving us, some insight on what's currently happening in Mozambique. It's really, really interesting for us here in South Africa, because you guys are just a stone throw away from us, and whatever is happening in Mozambique ultimately affects us here in South Africa. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll be chatting in the not so distant future.
Sure. Thank you.
Well, there you have it there, Mozambican human rights activist Cídia giving us insight on what's happening in Mozambique. And what's interesting for me is the fact that there seems to be a wave of change in the SADC region. I mean, I think maybe started in the east and it's going down. I mean, you can look what happened earlier in the year in Kenya, protests led by young people. Something quite similar is happening in Mozambique, Botswana. Also, people voting against a party that has run the country for more than 50 years and saying, we don't want you here anymore. You're not doing the work that you're supposed to be doing. And in South Africa, the story was similar in our last elections, where another, revolutionary movement, the African National Congress, also lost its majority. So young people of SADC are seemingly starting to wake up and are calling for a revolution in the various countries. And it will be interesting to see if something that almost resembles an Arab Spring might come out of our region, because it's time. We can all agree that it's time that our political figures are held accountable for their actions, particularly for the SADC region. This is one of the most prosperous, most peaceful, most economically viable regions on the continent, and it has been at the hands of people that seemingly don't care and only care about themselves and lining their pockets. So really interesting times ahead, not just for Mozambique, but for the SADC region. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues.
We are here in the middle of a Zahra neighborhood. The whole neighborhood is already destroyed. More than 17 towers are down. Here, as you can see, the firefighters trying their best to help. The people are still under the rubble. A lot of the people.
Join Hamza on his exclusive South African tour as he shares his personal experiences, never before seen footage, and powerful insights on the ongoing genocide in Gaza. This is more than just a talk. It's an invitation to witness Gaza through the lens of Hamza Sha'alan. Don't miss this opportunity to meet the photojournalist who brought Gaza's pain and perseverance to the world in its darkest moments. Follow Salam Media on social media pages for more on this tour and be part of a